Welcome to the Butts in the Seats podcast. Emily, it's our easiest episode.
It's easy?
Yep. It's as easy as 1, 2, 3.
Shut the fuck. Just start over. That was a bad intro. No. That was so bad.
I'm Nick alongside
No, we're
Emily.
not keeping that.
I had that in my brain all day.
That's so bad.
So on this 123rd episode of Butts in the Seats podcast, we are talking about the August 7th, 2000 WCW Monday Nitro, live from Denver, Colorado. It's the go-home show to New Blood Rising.
Remember that pay-per-view that everybody's really excited for and has totally been talking about forever? Yeah, for sure.
Oh, I'm saying this is like scheduling the Invasion pay-per-view and then being like, oh, we're already done.
Well, it's that, and it's also just like, they're not good at marketing their own pay-per-views. So at the beginning of the show, Tony Schiavone said, we're 6 days removed from New Blood Rising. I thought that I forgot about a pay-per-view. Because removed to me is like, it already happened and we're 6 days after. So when he said that, I was like, did I forget about New Blood Rising? What happened in that show? And then the little counter came up at the bottom corner, and I'm like, oh, no,
the
never
loudest graphic in the world.
Yeah, they are not good at mixing their graphics audio. That's not the first time we've said something about it.
Yeah. Well, because last time we just cut out the entire commentary.
Yeah. But it was for a different pay-per-view.
No, it was New Blood Rising. It was like 2 weeks ago.
Christ.
Well, that was last year, so.
Yeah, I don't dwell on the past.
It's our first episode of 2025.
Heyo.
Which means at some point during this year, we're going to cross into the all this was 25 years ago.
Hate that.
So, Emily, before we get into this show, I do have some backstage notes as per usual.
Of course.
First off, this show did a 2.5 to Raw's 6.3.
Okay.
Apparently, last month, in the month of July, WCW lost $7 million.
Jesus.
And somebody crunched the numbers that even if everybody in WCW had wrestled for free, they still would have lost $40 million this year.
How does that work?
Don't even know.
It must just be like venue fees, right?
It's venues, it's marketing, it's a bunch of stuff.
Jeez.
Notable release, kinda. Horace Hogan is officially released. So
Fucking finally. How is he still on contract?
Well, in a similar thing, Eric Bischoff is not gone. He's listed as a consultant.
Yeah, that tracks. Consultants are scummy and scammy and gross anyway, so yeah, that tracks.
It pretty much just keeps him under contract so he can't go elsewhere.
Yeah.
Even though, he's negotiating with Fox and yada yada. So last episode, there was a Vince Russo interview that was hyped up for Thunder.
Yes.
It did not air on Thunder because he kept talking about Hulk Hogan and Turner Legal had to be like, no.
Oh. I was wondering because we got another segment of a Russo interview later in this show.
Yes.
So that's different than the one that's on Thunder.
Yes, because there was not one on Thunder.
Okay.
Unless you asked commentary, because they forgot to edit out all of the instances of them going, and later on tonight, fans, to get that interview with Vince Russo.
Whoop.
DDP has been cleared to return, but Russo doesn't want to use him.
Of course not. Why would you use talented talent?
So DDP went to Canyon and went, okay, well then I guess, stop doing my stuff if I'm not going to come back, because it's just, it's not good for you if...
Yeah, it's a pretty dead-end gimmick if your rival's not coming back. Whoa.
And Canyon's like, okay, I won't do it. And then Russo's like, no, I want you to keep doing it. It's like, well, my boss says to keep doing it, so I guess I got to keep doing it.
Yeah, sorry, bud. That's so stupid.
She's seen later tonight, but she's seen first on Thunder. Kwee-Wee's wife, Papaya.
Wife.
Yes.
Wife.
In kayfabe. Is apparently a Pittsburgh stripper who got hired by one Mr. Mark Madden, who knew her.
He just knew her, and she just happened to be a stripper. They just met getting coffee or something. Very, very innocently. Definitely didn't pay for extra rounds in the back room.
I think she's gone within 2 weeks.
Poor Papaya.
Really?
You know, everybody needs a job, okay?
You weren't aware of this woman until...
Everyone needs a job.
Well, not Van Hammer. He's officially been released.
Yeah, fuck him. That's fine. He wasn't sold a false bill of goods. Papaya probably was. Van Hammer just sucked.
So on the last Nitro, Lance Storm deemed his hardcore title the Saskatchewan Hardcore International title.
I remember.
Apparently, it was originally going to be the Stu Hart International title.
Oh.
They asked Brett, hey, can we, change the name to be Stu Hart, whatever? He's like, yeah, sure.
And then he figured out what the joke was?
Well, Brett said yes, as long as it wasn't anything degrading. Because they just didn't mention to him that it was going to be the shit title. And it ended up not mattering because they picked a different name anyway.
Oh, so Brett didn't even have the opportunity to be like, hey, no.
Yeah, he said yes as long as it wasn't bad, and then they changed anyway.
All right. The Saskatchewan makes more sense because he's going with a Canadian thing. I know Stu Hart is Canadian, shut up. But it's more obviously Canadian if you do a spot.
And then finally, also noted in our notes last week, Mona, a.k.a. Molly Holly, has signed with WWF.
Good for her.
Got to work less than a week.
Good for her. Does she go to WWF in the blue dress and the white gloves? Is that a WWF thing or is that just WCW?
It's just WCW.
Okay.
She comes in as Holly cousin Molly Holly.
Right. But not Mighty Molly.
No, that's later.
Yeah, I forget her.
That's after
timeline.
Heel Hurricane kidnaps her and brainwashes her.
How dare you? Don't talk badly about him. He wasn't even on this episode. He's all over Raw, though. Current day. That's my favorite part about watching current day Raw is whenever there is interference from, security or production, whatever, like the big head honchos, we're like, oh, where's Jamie Noble? Oh, where's Hurricane?
I know. I'm like,
we love doing that.
I'm looking after like Kaz Hayashi. Like, how many can we get in here? With no more backstage notes, let's go to our weather report, where there's always thunder. The commentary team has a new member. It's Stevie Ray.
Ew.
Yeah.
Because he was doing such a good job on Nitro?
He did that 1 week.
He wasn't good? Where he got smashed with a guitar?
Yeah, and then they just went, this man's bleeding out. Anyway, moving on.
Yeah, really.
Lance Storm has renamed the Cruiserweight title. It is now the 100 kilograms or less title.
I like this.
He also defended all 3 titles in 3 different matches. Like, each one was a different one.
Okay, I like that.
And apparently under Canadian rules, 100 kilogram or less title cannot have people at ringside.
Interesting. Is that a rule he just made up?
Yeah.
Okay.
He has a little Canadian rule book he's bringing around.
Okay.
That may or may not come into play on Sunday.
Oh, interesting.
The shit title is apparently no weapons, but submission matches.
Ooh. Submission just being like, you have to tap out.
Yeah.
I hate that.
That's not bad.
I don't like submission matches. I'd rather a weapon match over a submission match because that's how you get the fucking long ass matches with just nothing but holds.
Yeah, the Canadian title didn't really have anything weirdly funky with it. We get a segment backstage where just some random guy who ends up being named Reno later.
Okay, I was going to ask you about Reno.
He is presented with no fucking context.
He's apparently somebody's boyfriend?
Yes, he's trying to figure out where one of the Nitro girls was on Monday night. Shane Douglas is like, yeah, they were having a foursome with Billy Kidman. He's apparently dating, in kayfabe, one of the Nitro girls.
Okay.
So that's why he's mad at Billy Kidman.
Because he consensually fucked his girlfriend?
Yeah, I mean, his girlfriend cheated on him with Billy Kidman.
Why are you mad at Billy then? Be mad at your girlfriend. He's the innocent bystander in this.
Tank Abbott has apparently written a song on a napkin. Notably, Evan Courageous was on crutches, but I know he wrestles on the pay-per-view, so guess he's fine. Because that's from when he fell off that ladder and landed like just on his fucking feet.
Oh, yeah.
The wrestler Skip Over is now the primetime player, Elix Skipper.
Primetime player, that's somebody else, isn't it?
It was the team of Darren Young and Titus O'Neil in mid-2010s.
In NXT, wasn't it?
Mid-2010s. It was, or both of them were in NXT, but I don't think Titus used that then. I know they become a tag team later on.
Okay, so it was not an original tag name. Wow.
Elix Skipper beat Kidman with help from Reno, who uses the Crossroads as his finisher. Elix Skipper is stuck with the overdrive, aka this is a test to see if you learn to do a cooler move.
Oh.
He was also called the O-Zone from Randy Orton at one point.
Ooh.
Oh, and it was something for MVP. It was like the play of the day. No, the playmaker or something.
Sure, who cares?
He would at least go ball in beforehand.
Okay, a little extra move, sure.
Judy Bagwell cut a mildly sweary promo on Shane Douglas and Torrie Wilson.
Oh.
During her segment, Canyon hit a terrible-looking cannon cutter to Buff on like a chair that was set up in the ring, and it's like, oh, Buff hit like the top of the chair, and he got pseudo-stretchered out because we see him on the stretcher in the back, sitting totally vertically in a neck brace. I'm like, what?
He definitely doesn't come out in this episode looking like he was on a stretcher 2 days ago.
Yeah. It's technically like 4 days ago, but still.
Is that Thursday?
It's Wednesday. It's actually 5 days ago.
Oh, shit, yeah.
Well, that's plenty of time to heal then.
Yeah, that obviously. Your neck can heal in 5 days. Ask Kurt Angle.
I would say ask China.
Ask China.
Yeah, so there was no Russo interview, despite them mentioning it. And it's like, all right, well.
Well, I'm glad you got the context of it getting cut out.
Yeah, he just kept talking about Hulk Hogan and Bash the Beach. It's like, you can't do that.
Okay. That puts other things into context.
Yeah,
Got it.
you can't talk about an ongoing lawsuit.
Sure.
Oh, but Emily, that brings us to our main show. Do you want to get into it?
No.
Well, too bad. Once again, this is the August 7th, 2000 WCW Monday Nitro.
The hits start coming and they really don't stop coming because woof was this an episode.
Was it better than last week?
Not to me.
Oh, okay.
I vehemently hated most of this. I texted you saying that we were flush with options for worst bit, and you said it wasn't that bad.
No, I said it was better than last week.
Sir.
Earlier today, Scott Steiner arrived and immediately took out a cameraman. Kevin Nash and Goldberg are also here. We got the opening pyro, and there's a fucking mud pit. I'm like, oh, Christ.
Before we go into the mud pit of it all, while the opening pyro was going on, for the opening match, the Young Dragons were already ringside, ready to get into the ring when the pyro stopped. In the back of the shot, as the ring pyro was going off, you can see one of the dragons like jump and flinch away, like they thought they were going to get hit by some of the pyro. I can't remember who it was. I think it might have been Jamie, but I wasn't looking too closely at the faces. There was obviously a dead giveaway if it was Jamie.
Side note, do you remember that random Nitro early in our watches where it was a match of Rey Mysterio and Bam Bam Bigelow where like it's the second hour and they had pyro go off?
No.
Yeah, in the middle of the match. They had like they go off in the corners too.
Oh God, I don't remember that at all.
Yeah, it was so stupid. But as mentioned, the Young Dragons are already in the ring, and then we get the Dark Carnival coming out and walk past some ladders. Vampiro puts a samurai sword on the announcer's desk, and then Tank Abbott comes out to join commentary.
Oh, why?
Just realized that those swords didn't play into anything.
Nope.
Because our first match, it is a 6-man tag. It's the Young Dragons versus the Dark Carnival.
Okay, so it wasn't a ladder match.
No.
Then why the fuck were there ladders?
Because they're getting prepped for the ladder match on Sunday. And on the next Thunder, 3 Count do this as well, where they just bring a ladder out for a regular match.
Why?
Ladders in it.
Tank Abbott was on commentary, and I was like vehemently trying to tune him out because it's Tank Abbott, and he was talking. And so when the ladder came out, I just assumed like, oh, they must have said it's a ladder match. But then like when the ladder started happening, I was like, hang on, there's nothing at the top for the ladders to be there for, like to get. There's something on like a pole or whatever.
Not yet.
So I was like, I must have just missed it. So I wrote down like, oh, it's a ladder match. And then the ladders had nothing to do with anything. So I was like, did I miss it? What the fuck is happening?
Tank Abbott notes that he's working on a song with 3 Count. Early on, Vampiro just fucking kills Jamie with a massive powerbomb.
He's just like ragdolling Jamie Son around.
Vampiro ends up on the outside, and Jamie dives from the corner onto him and Dale Torborg.
Dale Torborg?
The Dragons set up a ladder, and poor Kaz Hayashi goes for a dive. You can see the ladder like kicks back when he goes to do it. He completely fucking misses.
He whiffs this so bad that it looked like it hurt.
I thought his head got him a little bit.
Ugh.
But yeah, he goes dive off the ladder and does not get any sort of forward leap.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Well, then to add to it, Dale Torborg fucking press slams Yang all the way to the floor with no one to catch him. Like, ow.
Yeah.
Kaz hits a springboard enziguri and then tags in Yang as we kind of just like go back to like, oh yeah, the normal tag portion. It seemed like, all right, it's all falling apart, go to the finish. Oh, no, we're back tagging.
Right. Yeah, because it did kind of feel like it was like a tornado tag. None of these rules matter. Nothing matters. Why are we even trying to like make rules to this?
Vampiro and Dale hit their finish, and then Muta miss Yang, hits a backbreaker and a diving moonsault for the win. Like, oh, okay. Post-match, Sting runs out, just takes out the Dark Carnival with the baseball bat, then grabs a mic and says, that's 3 out of 4, and it's showtime for Goldberg. And I was like...
What is 3 out of 4?
Well, he took out 3 of the 4 people he wanted to take out.
Did he establish who the 4 people he wanted to take out were?
No, that's why I was surprised. Okay. I mean, he's feuding
who were the 3?
He's feuding with the Dark Carnival. He just took them out with a baseball bat, so that should have been context clues.
Only the one? Like, he's feuding with all 3 of them?
Kinda.
What does Muta have to do with anything?
Yeah,
Muta doesn't even know where he is.
Muta's feuding adjacently.
Let one of these dragons, I can't remember if it was Kaz or Jimmy, literally just wrestle circles around him. Like, used him as a pole and let this person just swing around him and do a wrestling move on him. Muta's not here for anything other than a paycheck.
Yeah, he's feuding adjacently. That's it. He's absolutely feuding with Vampiro and Dan Goldberg.
Sure.
But I was like, wait, why the fuck do you want to fight Goldberg? Oh yeah, he like kind of attacked you a couple weeks ago.
Who cares?
I thought it was Jeff Jarrett because that was last week.
It's not been established, so I don't fucking know.
He then says he's not leaving this ring until Goldberg comes out. Tony Schiavone then throws the back, but we get a commercial break. Any quick thoughts on this match before we move on?
The chaos that was that match?
Yeah.
Not particularly. But this Goldberg call out, I laughed so fucking hard at this. So Sting is in the ring, calls out Goldberg, says, I'm not leaving until Goldberg comes out. Immediately, Goldberg's music plays. Immediately. So I'm like, well, that was kind of lame. We're not even like trying to build this up or anything. So Sting is standing in the middle of the ring with Goldberg's music playing, and he's going to walk down the ramp. We cut to backstage, and...
Well, again, we go to commercial first.
Oh, yes, that's what made me laugh. That's the part that made me laugh. So Goldberg's music is playing, like actively playing, like he's about to walk down the ramp. Cut to snap into a Slim Jim. Like, if that was actually a big moment, you just cut away from Goldberg's entrance to go to fucking Slim Jims.
Yeah, and back from the break, we see a fight happen between Nash, Goldberg, and Steiner, and it got broken up. So I guess Sting sees this, because then he just, like, casually just starts walking to the back. And I'm like, what happened to I'm not leaving until Goldberg comes out?
Right?
We then get sirens, and Scott Steiner comes out. He says he's looking for Nash, but Sting is in the wrong place at the wrong time. And we'll have to figure out how to get this lead pipe out of his ass.
Yeah, he's like, I'm going to shove it up your ass, so you got to figure out how to get it out.
Steiner hits Sting with a pipe, and then a few hits with Sting's baseball bat, and then chokes him with it, and Steiner jaws with the crowd and then just leaves. I'm like, what is this? Like, I'm all for blending feuds, but this feels like I'm doing the weave. Oh, you see how I do a bunch of things and I bring them all back together? No, that's what this is.
You're trying, but no. I just don't care about, like, specifically Scott Steiner's part in this. Scott Steiner versus Kevin Nash, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Like, what's the point of that feud?
Because he cost Kevin Nash the match at Bash at the Beach.
Did he?
Yeah. He turned on Nash at Bash at the Beach.
I don't remember that being, like, a long-lasting thing. That didn't carry over into the week-to-week.
Yeah, because do you remember what was on the line at Bash at the Beach?
So many other things happened at Bash at the Beach. I didn't.
It was Scott Hall's contract, so you can't keep building this around Scott Hall's contract.
Oh my god. So that's how we're gonna pivot this, because we gotta stop talking about Scott Hall's contract. Now it's about Scott Steiner.
Yeah, different Scott. That's great.
Yeah, it's totally equivalent.
Great Scott. The Cat then comes out to the ring. Cat says he's taking control, and if Nash or Goldberg mess up the show, he won't just send them home because someone might pay them.
Yeah, I did like this reasoning.
Yeah.
So, like, if you disrupt the show, I'm just going to call the police.
Yeah.
And you won't get paid in jail.
Which is a reference to Scott Steiner fucking shit up and then be like, all right, you're suspended with pay.
Yeah.
That said...
Oh, no, don't. Stop.
That said, Goldberg interferes in the main event and...
Shh, don't worry about it. It's the end of the show.
No, it's during the match, though.
Yeah, but it's at the end of the show. Who cares at that point?
The Cat says for Big Papa Dump, we're going to have a pipe on a pole match against Sting.
Everything is on a pole. We are firmly in the blank on a pole era. Firmly.
Cat says to hit his music, but instead, triple champion Lance Storm comes out to the stage. And Storm wants to face Booker T. He's like, I've already won 3 of the belts. Might as well fucking win the last one.
Might as well try for it.
He wants to become a Grand Slam champion.
Imagine if he had won this.
The Cat says to kiss his American ass, and he'll let the fans decide whether or not they're going to do the match. And it's funny because he first goes, all right, do you want to see him wrestle Booker? And we goes, boo. And then it's like, wait, do you want to see Booker kick his ass? Yay!
Yeah.
So it's like, all right, gets a pop. So that match is happening later.
Woo!
Which I'm like, that could have been a big deal if you didn't do that in the middle of a random go-home Nitro.
Yeah, that's the thing about a lot of the matches on this, where it's like, there's no stakes because the stakes have already been established for the pay-per-view that's happening in 6 days. Nothing new is going to happen here.
Yeah.
That's how a go-home show happens. It's a filler episode.
Well, a little bit. Like, it's meant to progress angles, not potentially derail them.
Or create new ones.
Yeah. Oh, fuck me. Kidman's in commentary. And I hate that I have that reaction now.
I know.
But
he wasn't too terrible.
Not here.
Yeah, not here.
So Kidman says he hasn't been very nice to Torrie lately.
That's true.
And declares this Torrie Wilson appreciation night. But, I got to go do some more planning. And I'm like, I'm worried.
He seemed sincere.
More on that later. Our next match, it's Chronic, now with a C at the end.
Chronic. So, yeah, we need to keep track of this because it fluctuates week to week whether or not it's a C or a K.
Do they keep losing a file and they're like, we don't know how to do the backwards K at the end of the fucking, at the end of the nameplate?
I forgot the shortcut on the keyboard.
But they are facing the team of Mark Jindrak and Sean O'Haire for the tag team titles. Before Brawl to start, and O'Haire hits a diving front flip and then a kick. Just like, okay, cool, I can do a flip.
Yeah. Don't forget, I can wrestle.
Adams hits a backbreaker, and then the Perfect Event come out to commentary with Lex Flexors.
See, I was pissed about this because up to this point, it was a fairly good match. And as soon as fucking Perfect Event came out, I was like, well, we're not going to be able... You wanted to watch wrestling, you fucking dummy?
Well, I find it funny. I think it was last week, they mentioned, you don't have the Lex Flexors. They're like, don't talk about that. I'm like, are you moving away from the Lex Luger part of this?
No, and they just forgot him last week.
Yeah, they had him. The rookies hit some double team action as commentary just gets derailed with the Perfect Event. Tony Jabroni. Adams tags in, overpowers both men just on his own. Full Nelson slam to O'Haire, and then they hit high times on Jindrak, but Sean O'Haire breaks up the pin. Brian Clark then hits a meltdown on Mark Jindrak as well. Sean O'Haire breaks up that pin again. The rookies then hit a double suplex, and O'Haire hits a Shanton bomb.
Is that what the move is called?
Yes.
Jesus.
But Brian Clark kicks out. Sean O'Haire is then stopped on like a superplex attempt, and Chronic want like a doomsday device, but the Perfect Event come in and hit them with Lex Flexors. Additionally, Palumbo throws a Lex Flexor to Mark Jindrak, who catches it and hits Brian Adams. The rookies have turned heel.
What? How could they?
The Filthy Animals then come out and also jump Chronic, and the fucking state of Rey Mysterio.
So part of me is happy, part of me is sad that I didn't get a good close-up look on this.
He's rocking devil horns and a thick hanging down goatee.
Ooh, that can't be real then.
I don't fucking know, man. It's sad, and I'm like, I think it was better that they didn't show a close-up.
Yeah, because you texted me while you were watching and said that you had to warn me that this was one of Rey Mysterio's worst looks ever. Which, that's a lot to say, because he's had some looks.
Emily, I'm about to text you the look. I found a Google image for it.
Oh, no. Yeah, that's a fake goatee.
But that is a fucking look.
It's definitely something.
You know what? I'm gonna blindside you here.
No, I knew you were gonna do this.
Who's that Pokemon?
I didn't even get to see his face. I didn't know.
Yeah, it doesn't matter, because the Pokemon is Garbodor, because this look is fucking trash.
Garbodor?
Yes, it's a big trash pile Pokemon.
Oh, I know him. Is there a devil Pokemon?
Magmar might be kind of close.
If I just Google devil Pokemon, it's just gonna bring up like...
Oh, Giratina. He's basically the fucking devil.
Yeah, that's the first one that came up. I thought it was gonna be like mothers saying that Pokemon is the devil.
Yeah. There is some more to this segment, though. Misfits in action come out to make the save, and then the Filthy Animals steal the belts and run off.
Yay! The fucking chaos.
By the way,
that's
Filthy
for
Animals
two
are
matches.
not in the pay-per-view match.
Oh, well. That is 2 for 2 matches, though, that have ended in absolute chaos.
Yeah.
Let's see how that goes moving forward.
Backstage, the Misfits in action get their marching orders from General Hugh G. Erection.
Hey, you said you were curious about that mud pit.
Well, first, their plan is to get the tag titles back from Chronic. Chavo Guerrero has his Army movie quote for the week. Major Gunn says her mission is to go strip Miss Hancock in the mud pit.
Yay.
Which she really gives up on.
There's no stripping that happens. Spoiler.
Well, not even that. We don't really see her go after Miss Hancock.
No, Miss Hancock just appears.
Let's move into our next match. It is Buff Bagwell and Judy Bagwell versus a mystery team. Because they enter, and then we see Canyon going into Torrie Wilson and Shane Douglas's dressing room. He goes, all right, hey, I got you booked in this mixed tag match with me. And Torrie's like, I'm not getting sweaty on Torrie Appreciation Day.
Respect, girl. She's not wrong.
Go find another blonde bimbo. So he does. This match is Buff Bagwell and Judy Bagwell versus Canyon and Pamela Paulshock.
Pamela Pumpkins, no!
Who is dragged out by her wrist to the ring.
Yeah, she's not one to be part of this.
Thankfully, Buff and Canyon start this match.
Yeah, do the women even get in the ring against each other?
Buff hits a swinging neck breaker and does his stupid strut. Pamela refuses to tag in, so Canyon hits a neck breaker and a standing suplex. Canyon then just walks over to Judy and fucking punches her in the neck.
In the neck! In the neck brace.
Fucking neck. Like, what? So uncalled for.
So uncalled for.
Like, she didn't even I'm gonna get a little involved. She's just fucking standing there.
She wasn't even saying anything. She was not instigating at all. Just fuck your neck.
Canyon then goes after Pamela, so she slaps him.
Good for her.
Canyon brings her into the ring, which brings out
my hero.
Fucking mean woo by God Gene.
Watch him as he goes.
Watch him as he slowly goes.
He was booking it to go save his girl.
He's in a neck brace. Gene low blows Canyon, and Buff hits a blockbuster and gets the win, and then gets really up close to the camera. I didn't really get why.
Yeah, that's just what he does.
Gene then escorts Pamela out as Buff checks on Judy. This was fucking wild.
Best bit.
Honestly, once again, a kind of a wild ending, but at least more coherent.
Yes, this is the only one that I can think of. I haven't gone through the matches, but this is the only one I can think of that doesn't have like a chaotic, fucky ending. This one at least made sense.
The world title match doesn't.
No, that's not true. There's the post match stuff, and there's the stuff that happens in the middle of the match.
Yeah, right.
That's not true.
Yeah, I just remember bell to bell, and I'm like, oh, but. So does this match hit our quota for kidnap woman for the night? Does Pamela count?
Yeah. I don't know I would say she's kidnapped, but she's definitely forced into a location she does not want to be in.
Commentary then talks about the Russo interview that didn't air on Thunder, so they did another one, and here it is. Like, they didn't really hype this up at all beforehand.
No, they really didn't. You're right.
And Emily, in this interview, Vince Russo's shooting from the hip. So this is overall a very, like, low-energy, calm interview with Tony Schiavone and Vince Russo. Tony asked about Bash at the Beach, and Russo's like, yeah, we're doing this again because I said things I couldn't.
I can't talk now, but there will be a time and place where I can. Go talk to the lawyers.
And Tony's like, really? That's it? It's like, yeah, you talk to the lawyers?
Yeah, you gotta talk to the lawyer. We just did this whole thing, Tony.
Tony asks him again, why did he come here to WCW? Russo says it was a great challenge. WWF had peaked, and I'm like, they've been holding pretty fucking steady since then. They're also...
So he even said that too, where he's like, oh yeah, since I left them, they haven't changed at all. Like, their ratings have stayed pretty stagnant. I'm like, yeah. Yeah.
Except their revenue is up like 150 million.
Yeah, that tracks.
But Russo says he's here to help the emerging stars. He says him leaving WCW the first time was all about the politics. And like really seems to imply it was like all the main eventers that got him kicked out.
The politics and the bullshit, one might say.
Well, one would be wrong saying it that way. It's the bullshit of the politics.
Yeah, I wonder why that other phrase is in my head so strongly. This interview, though, really annoyed me because every other word Russo was saying, I'm shooting with you. This is a shoot. I'm shooting. Like, can you just say a normal person word? Not a fuck, I'm in wrestling. I'm an in guy.
Russo highlights Booker and says WCW is finally in a place where it needs to be. I'm like, yeah? Okay. Tony notes Russo's on-screen presence. Russo says, it's not about me. It's about we. So if being on camera helps, like, I'm going to do it, whatever. But he also does note that Ric Flair has a receipt with his name on it. And then issues a challenge for Starrcade.
Starrcade?
Yes.
Sir, it is August.
To John Rocker.
Who's John Rocker?
We've mentioned him before. I actually looked him up a little bit more this time. He is a pitcher for the Atlanta Braves, which, remind you, Turner has an ownership stake in.
In the Braves?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't think I knew that.
I looked into what did John Rocker say about New York that was so bad that it keeps being brought up. And, ooh, it's going to be a yikes from me, dog.
Really?
Yeah. Basically, he went on a little bit, he did an interview where he had some racist, xenophobic, sexist, and homophobic comments all in like the same interview. It's like,
good.
oh my God. Yeah, like just, and all relative to New York and how it's like, oh, you guys are the worst. Oh, like, and they proved me right.
I'm trying to think about how you can say all of those things in one sentence.
It's very hateful.
Just like,
I mean, it wasn't one sentence, but it was one like long, it was one quote. Oh, and never look at the YouTube comments under a video talking about him, because watch a video talking about how shitty he was. Everyone's like, oh my God, I loved him, unsung hero. He tells it like it is. I'm like, Jesus Christ, guys.
I think that should just be a blanket rule for the year of 2025. Don't read the comments. Don't read comments. Don't read tweet replies. Don't read posts. Don't read comments.
Now, all that said, is John Rocker a piece of shit? Yes. Is John Rocker going to do fucking anything at Starrcade? Obviously not. Shut the fuck up, Vince.
God, no. When do we see Ric Flair again? Does he even come back?
Yes.
Okay.
He's back quite a bit. I just don't know when.
Okay.
Tony Schiavone then asks Vince Russo about New Blood Rising. Russo says this is the starting point now, and he has confidence in the New Blood. Tony asks about the Goldberg, Nash, Steiner triple threat, and people not wanting to do the job. And Russo says the finish will be what's best for WCW.
Ugh.
This was a little more subdued than I thought, but yeah, it was just layered with the, I'm shooting, bro.
It felt a little rewriting of history, though, when he said, like, I came to WCW from WWF because WCW was a challenge. I don't know.
It's a mixed bag. He did actually, I mean, he has said since that he partially left because it was like I don't know what else I can do here. Okay,
but I know that he left more specifically because of the doubling of workload without pay. Yeah. When he highlighted that we haven't even had Russo for a calendar year yet.
Yeah.
Yikes.
And even then he was gone for 3 months of it.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. We have had less than a year of Russo. Oh my God.
But with the little exception of, we don't know how involved he is, every Nitro we reviewed in 2024 was a Russo Nitro.
Woof.
But I know Russo's going to be back on our screens fairly soon, so this was their way of getting him back involved.
Can't wait.
Let's move into our next match. It's Sting versus Scott Steiner. Pipe on a pole match.
Pipe on a pole! Which, could you argue that the pole in itself is a pipe?
Or vice versa?
No, the pole is a pipe. You're hanging a pole from a pole, essentially.
Yeah.
Or a pipe from a pipe.
Sting attacks Steiner mid-entrance and hits chair shots. Sting hits a diving clothesline, tries for a diving axe handle, but Steiner catches him, hits a belly-to-belly. Steiner hits his flexing elbow drop, and then just beats Sting down, including a T-bone suplex, then some push-ups.
Can you remind me if a blank on a pole match is a no DQ match?
So let's talk about this.
Okay.
I was going to save it for the end, but this is a good point, Jenny. The blank on a pole match is usually, like, when it's a weapon, whoever gets this down can use it.
Yes. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
That's what it was for Viagra on a pole.
I guess they did say that. You can use it on their opponent.
And there was a pin.
So, yeah, it's always a vague concept of, if you're getting the weapon down and can use it, it's like, well, why can't you use other weapons?
Right.
It's been a weird in between. I would say it's no DQ, but
okay.
I can't think of any instance of someone getting DQ'd in a pole match.
Okay.
That said, that usually also doesn't just end the match. Much like the straitjacket shit from last week.
That was so fucking stupid. Right. So, like, I guess my question was, like, why does it matter if Slick Johnson gets between the two men? Like, if we're no DQ, why does it matter? Why does it matter if he gets knocked out? Spoilers.
But, like,
why does it matter?
Judy Bagwell on a pole is going to be whoever gets her down.
Okay.
I think.
I guess we're still at a point where we need to...
It might even be by pinfall, for the fuck I know.
So we're still at a point where we need to specify how to win the fucking match. We need to specify the rules. And we're not doing that.
Sting starts a comeback, but Steiner pulls the ref in the way. Sting hits a face buster and a stinger splash. And Rick Steiner runs out. Rick just grabs the pipe off camera and is hit with a stinger splash. He drops the pipe, so Scott picks it up and Scott wins.
Yeah. So the ref comes back to life just long enough or just in time to see Scott with the pole.
Yeah.
So
we'll get worse reffing later on, but yeah, Scott Steiner wins. He hits Sting with the pipe and used it for a Steiner recliner. Kevin Nash runs out, blocks pipe shots with a chair. The four men brawl until security breaks it up. This company needs to figure out its fucking rules for matches.
Yes.
And at least tell commentary.
Yes. At least I want somebody to know the rules. Whether it be the talent in the ring or commentary. One of them needs to know what the fuck they're doing. Why is Scott going for a pin and commentary's like, oh, well, maybe. Like, what? We need to figure this fucking out.
Yeah, that is a good thing. Who does actually know the rule for the thing?
I don't know.
Let's move on. We get Mike Awesome and a large woman we learn is named Heidi.
Heidi.
I think they call her like Mighty Heidi or something.
Oh, I didn't catch a nickname.
They come out to commentary as Tony Schiavone notes that the main event for tonight will be a tag match of the Steiner brothers versus Sting and Kevin Nash, a.k.a. the Wolfpack.
Awoo!
But Mike Awesome is out on commentary for Lance Storm versus Booker T for the WCW title. So Storm cuts a pre-match promo. As opposed to cutting a your local sports team promo, he opts for a your foreign sports team promo because he just lists off like all the great Canadian athletes. To the point where Tony Schiavone has to point out, it's like, oh, well, now he's just listing players who played in the Canadian Football League. Storm then says a bunch of things aren't his fault. Don't blame Canada, blame yourself. Lance Storm wants the Canadian anthem played, but instead Booker T's music hits and he comes out to the ring.
They didn't even play with the idea of playing that music. They didn't even have that file on standby.
Almost immediately at the start of this match, we see somebody bring a plate of food down to commentary.
Again, I count this as match interference in some way of you don't trust the quality of what's happening in the ring, so you need to do something else.
They keep saying it's donuts and they bring it over and go, no, this is ham sandwiches.
It looked like burgers to me when it was coming down, but I guess from
same.
far away they thought it looked like donuts. And it still wasn't ham sandwiches. That wasn't fucking ham.
No.
That was roast beef. Have you ever been to Arby's? That's not ham.
Mark Madden, I forget what the fuck the line was, but he references some famous person in history who choked and died on a sandwich. And it was he was weirdly cultured Mark Madden. What the fuck?
That's wild. Mark Madden had another really good line of this at the end of the match.
In the actual match, Storm hits a springboard crossbody to the floor. Storm toys with Booker, but Booker fires up, hits a suplex. Storm goes for a sunset flip and tries to turn it into a Canadian Maple Leaf, but Booker gets the ropes and then hits a scissor kick and a spin-a-rooney. Harlem sidekick only gets a 2. Storm goes for a corner springboard crossbody, but Booker catches him into a power slam. Booker then counters a German suplex, but Storm rolls through the counter into a Canadian Maple Leaf. Booker tries crawling to the ropes, but gets pulled back to the center. But after a little longer, Booker then manages to crawl to the ropes to break the hold. Lance Storm hits a super kick, but runs into a spine buster, and Booker hits a missile drop kick for only a 2 again. Storm gets out of a bookend by kneeing the thigh, but runs into another attempt, and Booker hits the bookend for the 1, 2, 3.
Hey, that's the number of episodes we've done.
Yeah. Jeff Jarrett then runs in from basically the commentary desk. I'm like, were you hiding behind Mark Madden?
Yeah, he came out of nowhere. He very gingerly puts a guitar on the commentary table and it's just oh, it's my turn in the ring. Excuse me.
Jarrett attacks Booker and then breaks the Canadian flag over Booker's leg. So Lance Storm attacks Jeff Jarrett.
Did you hear Mark Madden's comment when he did that with the Canadian flag?
No.
It's a foreign object, literally.
Oh, yes. They brawl over to commentary where Heidi and Mike Awesome are like, all right, we're going to get out of here. But Lance Storm ducks a guitar shot, which just smashes Heidi over the head.
And she takes it like a champ.
Yes.
Now, this was a really, I don't want to say it was a good guitar shot because it hit her, but the way that it was executed was so well done. Lance moved at just the right moment. Jarrett, fully committed to the swing. Everyone was fully committed to this, and it worked so well.
Awesome then chases Jarrett back in the ring where Booker hits a bookend on Jarrett to end the segment.
At this, you can see Mike Awesome go back because he runs up to the ring too to be like, how dare you attack her, rude. He goes back to Heidi eventually to make sure that she's okay. And you can see her give him a thumbs up while she's face down. You can see him checking on her yo, are you okay? And she's like, yeah, I got you.
Shocking, I know, but this was a good little match. I picked up steam. Again, I wish he was in a spot where Lance Storm winning was at all a remote possibility, but
yeah.
It just, this was not a... They did nothing to build this up into they might do something here.
But this is another match that can't be its own thing. Needs to have something else. I know that the Burgers and Mike Awesome and Heidi on commentary weren't necessarily interfering, but it was definitely drawing focus.
Yes, and we got the requisite chaotic ending after the match.
Exactly. Yeah, that's after the bell.
Now, all right, I need to spoil the upcoming weather report.
Oh no.
So, for some reason, they do Lance Storm versus Mike Awesome in a flag match, which is 2 flags on a pole.
Okay.
And in this match on Thunder, Lance Storm wins with interference from Heidi, who rips off her top shirt to reveal a shirt saying she's Canadian.
Oh no, Heidi heel turn! No!
And it was why did she do it? Rips off the shirt, big maple leaf.
Pretty good. That's pretty good.
It's fucking stupid. Match with 2 minutes.
Heidi heel turn.
So I don't know if we'll see her at New Blood Rising or not.
What a champ, though. We love Heidi.
Fuck, she's gonna be your MVP, isn't she?
No, she's not.
Is it Jean? I don't like that laugh. Backstage, Pamela Balshock has her new fucking catchphrase, apparently. They make you feel like a big man doing that, Jeff Jarrett.
I'm glad that she questions his manhood. But I hate this segment because all the praise that I just gave that guitar shot of oh my God, it really looked like the one thing he didn't want to happen. And Lance moved at just the right time. He's undercutting that in this promo because she's questioning if it made him feel like a big man hitting the woman with his guitar. And he goes, You know what? Yeah, it did. I meant to do that. That was on purpose.
Yeah, the only reason I didn't do it is I didn't have time to go around her.
You didn't aim for her.
Yeah,
you
also,
weren't aiming for her.
You're not even aiming for Mike Awesome.
No! You were aiming for Lance Storm. You missed.
But Jarrett challenges Awesome to a match tonight. I'm like, I feel like we're pretty full, guys. But
yeah, I feel like we're full up. Got a lot of matches on this card.
Misfits in action are looking for the filthy animals. Sergeant AWOL ends up in the Nitro Girls' dressing room. Everyone's clothed, and they just throw things at him.
Stupid.
We never really get General Erection the rest of the show.
That's okay.
We then get Billy Kidman coming out to the ring with flowers, champagne, and a box of chocolates.
Massive box of chocolates.
We see Reno beating up Kidman on Thunder, because that may be important later. Kidman requests Torrie come out to the ring and apologizes to Torrie for everything, including sharing the sex tape. Backstage, before she comes out, Torrie and Shane Douglas argue. Did you catch Torrie's line?
No.
It's not franchise day, it's Torrie day.
I love her.
Kidman definitely is acting like, oh, I want to get back together and I'm really sorry. And
it came off very sincere.
Yeah, it got to a weird point where Mark Madden's like, oh, what a fucking loser. And Torrie's like, well, you gotta try.
Yeah, shoot your shot.
Kidman gives Torrie the flowers and then wants to play a tape from Torrie's 16th birthday, which, notably, has the date April 7th, 1992.
What year are we in right now?
2000.
So this was 8 years ago.
Yes, which that math more or less checks out
Really?
in terms of how old Torrie is. She's in her mid-20s.
Oh, okay.
However, Torrie Wilson's birthday is July 24th.
Oh, well,
What?
we didn't have Google in 2000.
You have her there.
She's not out there saying, like, hey, my birthday is.
No, but I'm saying, call her and be like, hey, we're going to set this tape to this bullshit. Let us know.
They're not going to do that.
So the videotape is a fat girl in a bowl cut scarfing down a cake and some other snacks. And
She's fat, isn't it?
yeah, she used to be fat. Back in the ring, Torrie is horrified, and Kidman is dropping high school photos from the ceiling of her looking fat. Torrie then smashes the flowers, and Shane Douglas comes out to take out Kidman.
Good.
Kidman fights him off and then shoves Torrie down really fucking hard.
Yeah, he does.
She's trying for a champagne shot, but I think he got a lot more of that than he meant to.
Yeah, I think that was an accident, but I think he also forgot who he was shoving.
Reno then comes out, hits a crossroads on Kidman. Shane Douglas then whips Kidman with a belt as Torrie tries to grab the photos, which is I kind of like this little character thing. And like, no one can see it. And it's like, there's too many. But yeah, Billy Kidman's a fucking dick, apparently.
Yeah, sure is.
And you want to hear a fun thing about this segment?
Let me tell you. Let me guess. Is this the last time we see Billy Kidman?
No, God, no. No, guess who struggled with eating disorders when she was growing up, and this is really great for her.
Great.
Yeah.
Great. I hate it here.
Yeah, I saw the line from Torrie, which I'm like, I never thought about, but she's like, yeah, I was anorexic and I tried to be bulimic, but it was too hard to try to do that. I'm like, yeah, I imagine that fucking would be.
Yeah, try to make yourself throw up. It's hard.
No, there's definitely been a day where I'm like, I feel terrible and I know if I puke, I will feel a little better just to get some of the whatever out of my system. And I'm like, I don't think I've actually been able to do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I am ready for this story to be over as well.
Yeah. I miss my face, Billy.
I'd even be fine with heel filthy animal Billy. I don't.
Yeah, if he were to join back up with the filthy animals are so pathetic right now.
Yeah.
I'm not sure the addition of Billy would help.
He's not going to be a weird dickish perv, I don't think. Then again, I don't know.
It's really hard to say.
Well, speaking of the filthy animals, back in commercial, they're attacked by the Misfits in action, but easily fight them off. Major Guns just drags Tigress away. Where did they go? The filthy animals then try to open a bay door so they can leave, and they try to imply that Conan and Hoovy are powerlifting this thing open.
But meanwhile, Ray is pushing the button.
Well, pushing the button,
side.
but also it's revealed Chronix on the other side of this door, and so they release the door, and it just keeps going up.
Yeah, but they don't realize it in a time that makes sense. They get halfway up Chronix's body, and then they're like, "Oh shit, there's a person there." You can see the feet.
Yeah, Chronic are on the other side. They chase out the filthy animals with sledgehammers. They go to the rental car where Disco Inferno is inside, and they hit the car a bunch, But because Disco is inside, they can't break the windows, which is kind of the only cool thing you can do with a sledgehammer to a car.
Yeah.
They're just hitting it, and it's like...
denting.
I'm not even seeing the dent, though.
Oh, I was.
I mean, like, maybe a little bit.
On the windshield, for sure, you could see it cracking.
Yeah. I'm saying just, like, on the hood, it's like, okay, like...
you could see it.
I didn't think it was a big spectacle kind of thing. Like, it doesn't look like it got cratered in. It just looks like a little dent.
I feel like it was stopped at the right moment where it could have become a big spectacle thing, but, Disco was his character, and he chickened out before it got to that point. Disco
then gives the belts back to be like, all right, just, like, don't hurt me. So they high times him onto the hood of the car. We then get Major Guns and Tigress coming out to the mud pit. Tigress gets pushed in and Guns jumps in. It's really far more shallow than they thought it would be.
Oh, yeah. But, like, why did Tigress get pulled into this?
I don't know.
This whole storyline had nothing to do with Tigress.
Also, that liquid was thick.
Yeah. Why isn't... sincerely, why isn't mud pit sexy?
Are you saying, like, you thought it was sexy? Or, like,
no,
why in
they
the vacuum?
wanted that to be a sexy thing.
It has... So OSW actually just kind of talked about this. Apparently the old school mentality is it like blurs the line between like being clothed and not because it matches enough and like shows off enough like curves and crevices and whatever.
They came out of this looking like swamp monsters.
There is a weird level to it.
I just didn't understand how this was considered sexy.
I don't know. It's also somehow meant to be considered sexy and humiliation, so I don't know how that adds to it. Miss Hancock comes out and like just willingly gets in the mud.
But not fully.
No. Tigress and Hancock double team Guns and like kind of try to drown her, and I guess that's it. What the fuck, guys?
Yeah, this was wild. This was a wild, unnecessary something. I don't even know what to call this.
I did have to laugh. I'm pretty sure Conan's still hurt because during the Chronic bit, he kind of just like walks off. Like, I don't think he gets touched.
Yeah. Well, did Chronic even do anything to the other guys? Did they even brawl?
They were on the ground in the back. Maybe they hit him with like a strike or two.
Maybe. Yeah, it was just a weird level of lame.
So Chronic has gotten their belts back, but once again, weather report spoilers. The Filthy Animals are going to steal them on Thunder.
Again, yeah, sure.
Let's move into our second to last match. It is Jeff Jarrett versus Mike Awesome. That I feel like I should have been more excited for, knowing me.
Yeah, you should have. This is right up your alley.
I was just like, just get to it. Awesome comes out hot, hits an overhead belly to belly, and then a splash in the corner. Awesome hits mounting punches and a leg drop. Jarrett sends Awesome to the floor, hits a chair shot. Awesome then hits Jarrett with a chair and grabs a table, but is cut off for the chair. Awesome then regains the advantage and fully sets up the table. More slow and easy chair action. Jeff Jarrett's losing a lot of goodwill with me lately.
Is he?
His matches are 80%, let me hit you with the edge of the chair.
Yeah, that's true.
Where, like, there's, like, look, at least on the other chair shots, there's impact, and it's, like, a little bit of a spectacle. This is just...
Yeah, and, like, his promos used to be good, and now they're just, like, again, 80%, listen, slapnuts, like...
I'm the chosen one.
It's really repetitive. Apparently, he just said that it's going to be his last contract wrestling.
Yes, I saw
his
that.
Final contract.
Jarrett crotches Awesome, trying to get him into the ring, and they go back out to brawl some more. In the ring, Awesome hits his run-up back elbow, and then climbs the top rope, but Lance Storm comes out with the Canadian flag. And I feel like he was not given any direction, because he doesn't seem to know what to do here.
No, he's just kind of standing there awkwardly waving this flag. It's so weird.
It also doesn't help it's not on a stick or anything.
No. But again, this counts. There has still been not one match that doesn't have interference. This counts as interference.
Well, definitely later it does.
Well, yeah.
Awesome hits a diving clothesline and an Alabama slam. Awesome clotheslines Jarrett, and both men are down. Lance Storm then distracts the ref, so Jeff Jarrett can grab a chain that for some reason Mike Awesome was wrestling in. Commentary noticed this at one point, like, oh, that's weird he has that on. It's literally just for this spot. Jarrett wraps it around his knuckles, hits Awesome with it, but Awesome kicks out after Jarrett delays trying to pin him. Awesome then wants to powerbomb Jarrett to the floor through the table at ringside, but Lance Storm gets in the way. Awesome knocks Storm off the apron, supposed to be through the table,
Yeah,
but
I figured that's what the
he
point
just
was.
bounces.
Oh, it looks painful.
And Jeff Jarrett strokes Awesome for the win.
Oof.
This match was fine, but it was unnecessary.
It was entirely fine.
We're doubling back to feuds that already had their moment, and I'm like,
Yeah.
we don't need to. Like,
Yeah, if we're really just doing like filler matches, like, come on now. I recognize, like I said, this is supposed to be a filler episode, but not filler matches. Like, the matches can be what's going to be at the pay-per-view, just like a preview or whatever. Like, something along those lines. It doesn't have to be two randos.
well, my point is more like it felt like they did the Mike Austin Lance Storm stuff earlier. I don't know why we had to go back and add a little wrinkle that won't matter.
Oh, you mean on this show?
Yeah.
Oh, then yeah, I don't know. I thought you were talking about like earlier in time.
No. On this show, like we hit
right.
that point. Like I don't feel any different about this segment having happened versus the last one. Backstage, Pamela Pumpkins is with Kiwi and Papaya. Kiwi says Pamela is dressed like a street prostitute and then doubles down on the split personality. Sure. It's time for the main event. It's the Steiner brothers versus the Wolfpack. Rick Steiner has the mic and says they fear nobody and are here to promote violence.
Did that make you giggle?
Why?
We're here to promote violence.
Rick also hits his "if you don't like me, bite me" line.
Classic.
Scott says he's going to shove his boot up one of their asses.
Which one? We
It
don't know.
doesn't specify. As the Wolfpack comes out, Mark Madden notes that we're probably due to see Goldberg, and I'm like, oh yeah, I guess he hasn't appeared since the backstage segment.
Yeah, he's in the building. We know that.
Nash and Sting clear the Steiners from the ring to start, and then the Steiners just keep riling up the crowd. Nash takes Rick to the corner, but Rick hits a Steiner line off an Irish whip. Nash regains control, tags in Sting. Nash slams Rick the wrong way for a diving splash, but Sting manages to like kind of make the angle work.
Yeah.
'Cause I kind of noted that. I'm like, okay, he's not facing remotely the right way for a diving splash. What's Sting going to do? Oh, no, okay, you got it. Rick then rakes the eyes of Sting and he tags in Scott. Rick and Scott sheep behind the ref's back, so Nash runs over. The referee turns around, sees Rick cheating, and then he yells at Nash, hey, you can't be over here.
Yep. I knew you were going to like note that, so I didn't even write it down.
It's this fucking ref.
Yeah.
Ginger ref.
Does this ref have a name? Do we know him?
I don't know if I want to look it up or not.
No, that's fine. If it's not like Slick Johnson or Hebner or whatever, like Lil Nage, we don't need to know him.
Well, I don't know that he keeps reffing after WCW ends, so.
Good, because he's not a good ref.
Rick hits a belly-to-belly to Sting, and Scott locks in a bear hug to Sting, who, was it just me, or did he look a little, like, actually fucked up after the belly-to-belly?
Scott?
Sting. It looked,
I didn't see it.
It looked like he just, like, maybe landed weird or something, because he's fine for a lot of the rest of this, but he was just kind of moving slow, and there was a couple spots where it's like, no, let's just, like, move past this to get to...
He might have tweaked something.
Because it seems like they're going to build the big hot tag to Nash. And instead, Sting just makes like the jumping tag. Like, nope, we're doing this right now. And I was like, is he okay? But Nash tags in, knocks down both Steiners. Scott breaks up a jackknife. Everyone brawls. Scott Steiner hits his spinning belly-to-belly to Sting as Nash hits a weak jackknife to Rick Steiner. I think meant to go through the announce table, but instead he just kind of like bounces off.
Ooh.
Which, with a powerbomb, it's like, okay, you fell from like a foot and a half then.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. So it's not that high up, but still.
Scott locks in the Steiner recliner as the ref is just looking at Kevin Nash going, hey, get in the ring. Let me just lean over the ropes a little bit.
Hey, stop that. No, don't.
Goldberg then comes in and hits one punch to Scott Steiner. The referee sees him in the ring and goes, oh, a pin attempt. And Sting pins Scott Steiner after the one Goldberg punch.
Yeah, it did feel like this came very quickly, and I wouldn't say out of nowhere, but very quickly.
Yeah, I'd say out of nowhere.
Yeah?
Yeah, like, could have been a spear. That would have made sense.
Could have been a spear. It should have been a spear.
Goldberg then spin kicks Sting. Nash and Goldberg stare down. Steiner hits Goldberg, and we just go off the air.
Yeah, it ended so quickly. Like,
Not even a we're out of time.
No, so when this ended, I was like writing, like head down, writing notes. I wasn't fully like watching and locking in, because usually Tony Schiavone will say that. He'll be like, oh, we're running out of time. See you next week, whatever. It rolled into the next Nitro on Peacock. Like, I heard the starting like fire sound effect. I was like, wait, there's no way that I just finished that. I must have bumped something, obviously. No, it ended so abruptly.
Yeah.
Bizarre.
And they don't replay any of this on Thunder, so I guess it wasn't important.
Well, no, it's not important.
Any thoughts on this match?
It was kind of a mess, but it didn't have any interference, so there's that.
Yeah, the match is... Well, Yes, it did. Goldberg won.
Oh, fuck, duh.
Yeah, the match stuff was whatever. It was kind of just like waiting for Goldberg to show up, which I don't know that it would have been as much if Mark Bad didn't go, hey, we're basically due to see Goldberg. I'm like,
true. Yeah, if he didn't like call it. It kind of felt like, I remember when like Game of Thrones was on. You never wanted to watch the previously on because it gave stuff away for like what they might reference in the episode. Yeah. That's what this felt like.
Why is Benjamin Stark in the previously on?
Exactly.
Or for the one thing, oh, why are we highlighting the Hound? That's weird.
Right.
Isn't he dead?
Isn't he dead? Why are we talking about Goldberg? I thought he was just like, hanging out.
All right. Final thoughts on this show, Emily.
Chaos.
Yeah.
Absolute chaos. It feels like early Russo days.
I stand by. I think this is a better show than the last 2 weeks.
It's less boring, I guess.
Maybe that's it. I feel like almost everything on this show has had an equivalent in the last 2 weeks that's been worse.
I don't know that I agree.
It's not a good show, but
it's not a good show. Neither was last week. Neither was the week before.
Yeah, I think we said something about like, oh, it's a D+. This may be a D.
Yeah.
Like there is some actually like decent in-ring work from people,
but it's so few and far between, and it's interlaced with shitty interferences and character spots that aren't necessary.
Yeah.
Like, tell me why we needed that plate of burgers.
Fair, but my point is there was nothing on this that I was watching and I was like, holy fuck, this match is terrible. Like, think about some of the tag matches lately that I'm like, this is a mess and bad and what the fuck?
Yeah.
I didn't have that for anything on this show.
I had it for the first tag match where, like, all of the tag teams came out. It was like the one for the titles where the Animals stole the titles.
Yeah.
That one I've had that.
But
this is fucking crazy.
Animals came out post-match. So
yeah, the chaos was post-match, but it still felt so disorienting and jarring that it was hard to think of anything else, really.
Fair.
It's proof that Vince Russo has zero faith in this product.
Yeah. What are you talking about? We're at the perfect starting point, Emily.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, let's get to our ending point, and I'm very curious what you have decided for this trio, but let's do best bit, worst bit, and MVP. Emily, what is your best bit?
My best bit is, unfortunately, the mixed tag match. Specifically Gene running out. That whole running out sequence, it was incredible. He came to the rescue of Pamela again, punching Judy in the neck. Like, that whole match
right in the
was
fucking neck.
That was full of faffy gold. I loved that match. Best bit. What's your best bit?
Lance Storm, Booker T.
No. That was the best match.
And like you said, Heidi took a hell of a fucking guitar shot.
She sure did. She was up there for a contender too because she put in work.
Emily, what is your worst bit of the evening?
It's gotta be the Kidman segment.
Torrie Wilson Appreciation Night?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's almost more of a concept than a bit, but I think, honorable mention to the lack of clean finishes on this show.
Yeah. The reason I gave it to Torrie Wilson Appreciation is this is an ideology that's coming back around in 2024/5, unfortunately, where, especially highlighted in this show, the absolute worst thing you can do as a woman is be fat.
Weird kind of credit to Tony Schiavone in that segment. He goes like, oh wow, she must have worked really fucking hard.
Good for yes, okay, thank you. But, so what if she was fat 8 years ago?
That segment was just mean-spirited.
Yes.
And the logistics of having to shoot that and the photos, I'm like, you put way too much work into this mean-spirited segment. Yes.
Yeah, you had to think about this. You had editors edit this and think about this. You had a photographer think about this. And none of you were like, maybe not.
And also, it's not true.
Yeah, it's all a fake thing. Just to make other people who might actually look like that feel badly.
Emily, who the hell did you come up with for MVP?
I honestly feel like there's only one option. It's not Gene.
Okay.
It's not my hero. It's not Gene. Lance Storm.
Yeah, I feel like I keep giving it to him, so I was resistant, but yeah, I think
he's the only one who wrestled well, kept up with storylines, and maintained and heightened his own gimmick.
And took a shitty bump on a table that didn't break.
Yeah, that too.
So,
Lance Storm.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's Storm, because you know what? Credit to him. He came out and asked for a world title match, and I went, yeah, let's do that. As opposed to like, okay, bud. Because keep in mind, he got fucking bitched out by Kevin Nash last week, and he managed to kind of overcome that a bit.
He wanted to be Lancey 4 belts.
But that's going to do it for this Go Home Nitro. Next up, it's New Blood Rising.
Whoa!
The one and the only.
That's fine.
They didn't even bother nicking this for NXT.
Yikes. That's how you know it was a bad pay-per-view.
They took New Year's Evil. They didn't even do New Blood Rising. But if you want to listen to how we got to this point or where that should have been, you can listen to all of our back catalog everywhere podcasts are found except for SoundCloud, but including YouTube. So if you have one of those premium memberships over there and want to, I don't think this adds to any of them, but yeah, do whatever.
Tickles you fancy.
We don't have it set up for ad revenue, so listen where you want.
Yes, we are not making any money off of YouTube or Spotify or anything like that. We're not making anything out of that. But you can also follow us on social media, where we are Butts in the Pod on Twitter and Instagram. We are Butts in the Seats on Facebook and on Blue Sky. You can also follow us on Patreon if you feel so inclined to give us $5 a month. That'll get you 25 episodes, give or take, including our foray into TNA's Monday Night Wars.
Which you might notice appeared in your feed a few days ago.
Yeah!
We did a special Patreon preview, so give that a listen. We've made it all the way to lockdown so far, plus a bunch of other stuff.
Bunch of random stuff.
Some Jesse Ventura outings.
Some
it's a good time
Legends
over
House,
there.
some Hogan Knows Best, a little bit of everything, honestly.
Well, Emily, any closing thoughts before we finally get to New Blood Rising?
Let's just get there already.
But until that New Blood rises, I'm Nick.
I'm Emily.
And thanks for listening to the Butts in the Seats podcast.
Meow.